Dear ATX students, let's start Finance Act 2025. Variant is UK. I'm Abil Ahmed, CEO and Principal of Abil School of Accountancy and your ATX teacher. In today's introductory class of ATX, what exactly we'll be covering? Of course, I'll be discussing at least one of my achievements in ATX, the lifetime achievement. Second, we'll be discussing the paper pattern. Plus, I'll be giving you one major reason. There are multiple reasons, but at least I'll give you one major reason why to opt ATX and why ATX should be your first choice in optional papers. We will also be discussing the paper pattern. Then we'll be discussing what exactly ASA offers you in ATX, what makes our ATX classes unique, easier from others. Plus, what makes our ATX classes easily understandable for you. And what makes ASA to carry on such a high passing rate in ATX. We'll be discussing all these points. Plus, I'll be discussing this finance sector is valid for how many attempts, and plus we'll be discussing something which we offer and the rest of the world, they don't offer the same thing at all. So I think we should start. Number one, ATX Finance Act 2025, the variant which I'm teaching you right now, that is a UK variant. Okay. ASA lifetime, I would say, in ATX achievement is one of my students, she took 92 marks in ATX. And she's from India. She stood 5th rank in the world. So rank number 5 and 92 marks, obviously top in India. So far, the highest marks are 92. Now, quickly discuss, let us see why to choose ATX. There are many reasons. ATX gives you exemption in ICW and so many other things. But to me, for you, one reason is enough to opt ATX. Out of 4 optional papers, ATX is the only paper which has the highest passing rate percentage. So obviously, the first aim of every ACCA student is to become an ACCA affiliate as soon as possible. So just one reason to choose ATX, it has the highest passing rate out of all 4 optional papers. The second paper after ATX which has the highest passing rate, that is AFM. I'm not just highlighting both of these because I teach both of them. The main reason is you can just check ACCA official passing rate. So both of them are having excellent passing rate, and between these two, ATX is having the highest passing rate out of all 4 optional papers. So that is the main reason you should be opting ATX. Now, let us quickly discuss paper pattern. Actually, ATX paper pattern also makes ATX, I would say, the best choice. And ATX paper pattern also makes it very easy to pass. So let's see the paper pattern and let's find out why the paper pattern makes ATX to pass easily. Let's see. Paper pattern section A, of course, there's one question, compulsory 50 marks. But out of this 50, you have got technical marks 40, 10 we have professional marks. I'll tell you, don't worry at all about the professional marks you will be learning. But right now, look at the section A. 40 technical marks and 10 professional. And let me help you. Out of these 40, you will always have a 5 marks, at least 5 marks question on ethics. And which is, let me tell you, I'll be brutally honest. The 5 marks question on ethics is as easy as ABC. It's very, very easy, provided that you have followed all my instructions. Very easy. And getting 20 professional marks, which are available in ATX, is extremely easy. Again, you need to follow our instructions. So getting 5 out of 5 ethics question, very easy. Getting 20 out of 20 from the professional marks, very easy. So actually in ATX, I would say the technical paper is only for 75 marks. 25, I don't consider it's not technical at all. Okay. We have section B, 2 questions, each question 25 marks, but again, the technical marks are 40, where each question will have 20 technical marks. Again, 10 professional marks, but in section B, each question will have 5 professional marks. Altogether, there are 20 professional marks, which are very easy to get, and 5 marks on ethics. When it comes to technical marks, out of entire paper, 75 marks are technical. I'll give you the idea on those technical marks as well, and don't worry at all. Time allowed is simply 3 hours and 15 minutes. Now, just a little idea. You will be having at least 5 marks question on ethics. And nor, I would say, almost 100%. Ethics question will be on these areas, like prospective clients, who is your potential client. You need to know, okay? Conflict of interest. It is not like that. Whoever comes, you say, yes, I'm open to you. No, 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 no. For example, your tax consultancy firm is already providing tax consultancy to Mr. Y's wife. Now, Mr. Y wants to be your client as well. So you need to see, is there any conflict of interest? You need to see. If yes, then what is the better way to deal with that? One, not to lose the customer, and second, not to face the conflict of interest. Obviously, then you should be having separate teams giving services to separate team should be for wife, and the separate team should be for husband. Things like that we'll be discussing. Disclosure of information to HMRC. If just an example, that due to HMRC has made an error, and let's say they have refunded XYZ amount to your client, and your client is not willing to disclose that to HMRC. So come on, you need to convince your client that they should be disclosing HMRC before they find out that they made an error. So how will you convince your client? We'll be discussing that. Don't worry at all. Money laundering. Make sure if your customer is not disclosing information to HMRC, so that you can just tell your client that which you are doing, it leads to money laundering and it has severe consequences. And there's a possibility I don't want to be your client, and we will not be serving services to you if you're not stopping yourself from these transactions and you're not disclosing XYZ information to HMRC. Tax irregularities, journal abuse rule, tax avoidance, tax evasion. We'll be covering all these points in really good detail. But these are the components which you will always see in a question on ethics. 5 marks. Now there's very interesting question what I have written. That is very interesting. It said, you have just mentioned that we are starting ATX Finance Act 2025 UK variant. So why did you write TX? Let me tell you. A most commonly asked question from the student is, sir, in ATX, do they examine tax knowledge? The answer is yes, they do examine tax knowledge. Another question. So do they examine exactly the same level of question which they are asking in taxation? The answer is no. The knowledge will be same, but obviously the question difficulty and the way of asking the question will be altogether different. And now there is another question also. Sir, if for example, someone says, sir, I have totally forgotten. If a student says, sir, I don't remember tax at all, then how will I understand ATX? That's one question. Let me help you in this question. If you don't remember a single thing from tax, still you will be able to understand 100% ATX when you are studying from Abeel School of Accountancy. The question is how? Let me tell you how. We always teach from zero. I'm going to teach you from zero, from scratch. I never expect that students they carry any previous knowledge. So you will see in today's class, we'll be just starting our course from the meaning tax. So when you will be studying advanced taxation from me, then you will see that I'm going to cover the entire taxation, of course, with ATX. So I always teach from scratch, and let me give you the evidence on that. I have the honor to produce tax ATX top from Zimbabwe, and the good part is that student did not study taxation, did not study. The question is how it is possible. Yes, it is possible. He came from a university, he took exemption in taxation. Still that student managed to get position in ATX after studying from us. And that student is just one of the examples. There are multiple examples where a student they did not study taxation and they still managed to, number one, pass ATX, number two, even they end up by taking the regional positions. So that is, I think, good enough evidence that I always teach from zero. I never assume that students they carry any previous knowledge. So I think I have cleared the doubt. If you don't remember taxation or you did not study taxation, you should be relaxed. Okay. Now what ASA exactly offers you in ATX? What makes our ATX unique, easily understandable, different from others? And just not a little different from others, I would say significantly different from others. Number one, you will be getting entire ATX. When I say entire, means entire ATX just within 73 lectures. It's not only that we will cover entire ATX just within 73 lectures. The good part is one lecture you will see, one lecture is just on average, it is 45 minutes long. Most of the lectures, they will be around 40 minutes long. But let's take for a safer side, if I take 45 minutes, if I convert 73 lectures, multiply by 45 divided by 60, I'm getting 54.75 hours. Make it 55 hours. Now imagine the entire ATX course in a very slow speed, you can cover just within 55 hours, which means that if you are watching my lectures with a little bit increased speed, which obviously most of the students, they do it. So very easily a lecture of 45 minutes can go down to 35 minutes. Just imagine. Such a high course and one lecture is just 35 minutes long, as opposed to in the market, the people, they have lecture of 2 hours, one lecture 2 hours. Let me tell you, the lecture length of 45 minutes and with a little bit increase, you can bring down to 35 minutes. It is such a length that it keeps you motivated. And this length of video encourages you to watch the lecture. Because it's my experience after teaching so many students that they came to us from different sources. This is we were watching around 2 hours lecture, and obviously if it is there's a 2 hours lecture, or even it goes from 1.5, even more than 1.5 hours, student they just lose interest. Then they pause the video, then they take a break and then resume their class. So the best part in ATX is at ASA, one lecture is just 45 minutes long. Now, let's talk about practice videos. After that, you'll be getting at least 35 practice videos, in which each video we will cover one proper past paper question from the latest Kaplan kit of Finance Act 2025. Maximum we go to 40 lectures. 35 to 40 past paper questions, that they're more than enough. If you put into attempts, in one attempt you have 3 questions. Okay, so 40 means 13 attempts paper, 13 1 3, or 30 question means 10 attempts past papers. So if you are covering around 12 to 13 attempts past paper with us, more than enough. More than enough. The good part is here you will be getting one lecture on average between 45 to 55 minutes long. Okay, so by spending, I would say, additional 30 to 35 hours, you can cover your practice as well. You will be getting our focus notes. Once you have my focus notes, there's no need to read Kaplan book. So focus note, within, I would say, 80 to 90 pages, we cover the entire ATX. Another good part is you will be getting a weekly live revision classes. And what exactly in weekly live revision classes we cover? In this weekly live revision classes, you will be just surprised to study and know that just, I would say, within 10 hours, you will be getting the revision of entire ATX just within 10 hours. Believe me, only within 10 hours. That's something awesome, something which rest of the world, they don't offer. That we cover the entire ATX within 10 hours, but obviously in our revision classes. Then you will be getting the WhatsApp support, I would say, the best and fastest in the entire world. Most of the time, our response time is just within 3 to 5 minutes. And sometimes even under 1 minute we reply. We do conduct tests as well, but the good part is you will be attempting the test, but test you will be checking by yourself. We'll provide a video lecture on those tests. ACCA pre-scene mock. How to get the maximum benefit from ACCA pre-scene mock once you get enrolled yourself at our ASA, we will teach you. And we will make sure that you should be getting the maximum benefit from ACCA pre-scene mock. If you follow our strategy relating to that ACCA pre-scene mock, your success is almost confirmed then. Then ASA also conducts your mock maximum 15, at least 10 to 12 days before the exam. The good part is in ASA mock, I'm going to personally check your mock and I'll give you the personalized feedback. So what else do you need? You will be getting a personalized feedback. So these are the things which actually they make ASA different from others. Okay, now let me quickly share my admin number and then we'll be studying today, don't worry at all. ASA admin numbers, WhatsApp, those students, they are outside Pakistan. Our number is 0092 328 284 6117. Students within Pakistan, 0328 284 6117. Another admin number. Students outside Pakistan, 0092 333 666 214. Within Pakistan is 0333 666 214. Now, another question is, Finance Act 2025, it is valid for how many attempts and what are those attempts? Actually, Finance Act 2025 is valid for June 26, September 26, December 26, and March 27. These are the 4 attempts for which ATX Finance Act 2025 is valid. Okay. Now, the entire, I would say, syllabus of ATX, we divide into 6 major heads. And I've written all the 6 heads in a sequence which we follow in our regular classes. One is taxation for individuals, like people like you and me. How do we pay tax in UK? We'll be learning here. Individual could be an employee, individual could be a sole trader, individual could be a partner in a partnership firm, individual could be having interest income, individual could be having dividend income. So you will be learning taxation for individuals. How do they pay tax? Okay. Capital gain tax. First, you will be studying capital gain tax from individual's perspective, and then later on, you will be studying corporation tax, capital gain tax within the corporation. Inheritance tax is going to be part 3. VAT, a very easy and straightforward topic. VAT, in many countries we call it sales tax as well, value added tax, corporation tax, and finally we'll go for self-assessment for individuals and corporations. I've just written the entire syllabus in a sequence which we follow. And interestingly, we have all topics in taxation as well. Of course, the depth, the knowledge in ATX is far more. I would say it is, as compared to tax, it is 30% to, I would say, 35% higher as compared to taxation. But as I told you, I will teach you from zero. Okay, these are the tax rates which will be given to you in exam. We'll come to this. Even though it's just a first class of Finance Act 2025, just an introductory class, but we'll be starting from today. I'll be just teaching you few basic things today, and then slowly and gradually we will go to the main topic. First of all, if someone asks you what is tax, actually tax is a source of revenue for the government. Tax is a source of revenue for the government. Now the question is, why government charges tax? Very easy. The main objective is government is going to charge tax to the wealthy people, so that government can spend that money for the betterment of course, the country and their people. So tax is just a source of revenue for the government. Now, another question. How does an individual pay tax in UK? As I told you, we'll be starting from individuals. In today's class, we'll be learning few basic things. Number one, in UK, individuals, they pay tax according to tax year. Another name for the tax year is fiscal year. Individuals in UK, they pay tax according to tax year. Another name is fiscal year. In UK, tax year starts from 6th April, ends on next 5th April. For example, if a tax year starts from 6th April 2024, is going to end on 5th April 2025. And how do we write this? Very easy. 2024-25. This is how we write. For example, 6 April 2025. If the tax year is starting from 6 April 2025, ends on 5th April 2026. And how do we write this? 2025-26. Okay. Now let's go a little bit ahead. Now, next question is, does every individual pay tax in UK? The answer is no. You might be very happy. That's great. Everyone is not paying tax in UK. You should not be happy for this news. Why? In UK, only those individuals are required to pay tax if their earning is more than 12,570 pounds. Repeat, in UK, only those individuals are required to pay tax if their earning is more than 12,570 pounds. Now the question is, what is the logic of 12,570 pounds and what it is called as well? Actually, this 12,570 is called personal allowance. 12,570 is called personal allowance. In UK, simply you can say that in the entire tax year, in the entire fiscal year, if individual is earning less than 12,570 pounds, then government say, according to the UK government, that person is simply a poor person. and not required to pay income tax. So according to, I would say, UK, if you are earning HMRC in UK, HMRC, which is the taxation authorities, they say if you are earning more than 12,570, then you will be paying tax. Okay. So every individual gets personal allowance of 12,570. So that's a definition. If someone asks you that what is the definition of rich person in UK according to taxation, so it's a very easy. Whoever earns more than 12,570 technically is a rich person, will be paying tax. If you're earning less than 12,570, you are not supposed to pay tax. Okay. Now the next question is, for example, we have got Mr. Y who lives in UK. Why we are saying again UK and UK? Because we are studying ATX and the variant is UK. So that is why I'm mentioning again and again UK. Assuming Mr. Y who lives in UK, having an employment income. Actually, employment income is a non-saving income. If I give you few more examples of non-saving income, for example, employment income is a non-saving income, property income. If you are running your business, you are a sole trader, that is also an example of non-saving income. If you're a partner in a partnership firm and getting a share of your profit, it is also an example of non-saving income. In fact, the pension income which Mr. Y is, for example, getting, it is also an example of non-saving income. There's a possibility that Mr. Y is earning from non-saving source of income, saving income, and dividend income. But right now, it is a first class. We'll be just focusing on little bit on non-saving income. Assuming Mr. Y is having an employment income of £70,000. Assuming Mr. Y is having employment income of £70,000 and you are required to calculate income tax liability, that's it. Employment income is 70,000, which is a non-saving income, and you are just required to calculate income tax liability. How will you calculate? Very simple. Employment income, £70,000. And let me tell you one thing. For the when we'll be discussing, of course, kit question, past paper question, for numerical part, we'll be using MS Word. We'll be using for numerical part, we'll be using spreadsheet, Excel. And for discussion, we'll be using MS Word. Employment income, of course, on entire 70,000, Mr. Y is not required to pay tax. From this 70, Mr. Y will deduct personal allowance. So let us deduct personal allowance, which is 12,570. And it was same in the previous Finance Act also. And some of the student, I don't know why they are just, some of the student, they're just, they might be curious and just they wanted to know what is the difference between Finance Act 2024 and 25. I think if you are appearing in Finance Act 2025, so obviously you are studying everything which is in Finance Act 2025. Nobody will be asking you in exam that what was in 2024. So that is what, to me, it's an irrelevant question, that what are the differences between 24, 25. So simply you are studying 2025 Finance Act. But personal allowance, obviously it was same previously also. Employment income minus the personal allowance gives you taxable income. 70,000 minus 12,570. I'm getting taxable income 57,430. Now you need to apply income tax rates. How do we apply income tax rates? Let me explain. I'm just writing income tax. Students, in exam, all the tax rates and bands, they will be given to you. I've just written here non-saving income, saving, and dividend. Right now, of course, we are doing an example of non-saving income. Basic rate band, which starts from £1, ends at 37,700. In case of non-saving, income tax rate is 20%. Higher rate band, which does not start from £1. Higher rate band actually starts from 37,701, ends at 1,25,140. Tax rate is 40%. Additional rate starts from 1,25,141 plus above, no limit. Income tax rate is 45. First, you have to consume basic rate band, then you will go for higher rate band. You cannot apply directly 40% on 57,430. You can't do that. First, you have to use the basic rate band. Basic rate band ends at 37,700. Applicable rate is 20%. So 37,700, if I multiply this with 20%, I'm getting 7,540. Now, from 57,430, we have taxed 37,700. So the remaining amount is 19,730. The remaining amount, which is 19,730, it actually falls in higher rate band and applicable rate is 40%. Now let's apply 40%. I'm getting 7,892. Simply add both of them, 7,540 plus 7,892. I'm getting income tax liability 15,432. Income tax liability. Now let me just give you one more example, and this example will be solving on spreadsheet, Excel. Just a minute. Okay, dear students, let's see. We are just calculating income tax liability. I just want to show you how to do it on the spreadsheet. Assuming this time Mr. Y is having employment income of 90,000. I hope everyone can see the spreadsheet. So how to calculate income tax liability? Employment income is 90,000. We know that employment income is a non-saving income. So let's simply deduct less personal allowance, which is 12,570. So 90,000 minus personal allowance 12,570 will give us taxable income. Simply 90 plus this. Taxable income is 77,430. We know that we cannot directly apply 40% on that. First, we'll be using the basic rate band. After that, we'll go for higher rate band. So simply basic rate band. The limit is 37,700. Tax rate is 20%. So 37,700 multiplied by 20%. Obviously, after basic rate band, we'll go for higher rate band. So taxable income is 77,430. Out of this 77,430, we have applied tax rate on 37,700. So the remaining amount falls in higher rate band. You can even write only higher rate, no issue at all. Is equal to 77,430 minus this. So actually, higher rate will apply on 39,730 and the rate is 40%. So I'll take this. Simply we'll add both of them to get income tax liability. Here comes your income tax liability, 7540 plus this. Here comes your income tax liability, which is 23,432. So that is all about the very first lecture, Finance Act 2025. But don't worry at all. In the coming at least 2 to 3 classes more, we'll be just learning how to calculate income tax liability. So hope to see you all and others in the coming class. Thank you.